Severe weather has wreaked havoc in KwaZulu-Natal, with heavy rains causing widespread flooding, damaging infrastructure and displacement of residents. Several areas have been hit by rising levels, prompting emergency response efforts. Authorities are urging caution as more rain is expected in the coming days. For the latest updates on the situation and relief efforts, we are now joined by Dr. Elias Sithole, who's the head of the National Disaster Management Center. Dr. Sithole, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. What's the latest update that you got around the situation in KwaZulu-Natal?
Good morning to the viewers. Yes, as we are working very close with the South African Weather Services, guiding us in terms of the rainfalls which might be experienced in different provinces. Yes, in KZN, we've been monitoring the province very, very closely because we have more or less 21 fatalities there. Since from, I would say, the 12th of February until now, 21 people have lost their lives. So we've also seen some of the infrastructure being damaged and some of the mud houses also being affected as well, including the roads.
Mm-hmm. So then looking at the incidents that have taken place, we're speaking about 21 people that have been reported dead since the 12th of February. Is it known whether there are still people that are still missing? Last week we were speaking about a 60-year-old who was missing. Not too sure what the update is that you got with regards to missing people.
Yes, our rescue team, they were able to recover some of the missing people. Unfortunately, we still have one person who's still missing, but our search and rescue teams, they are still busy searching that person.
Yeah, and then considering the announcement that has come from the Weather Service with that orange level 5 warning in KwaZulu-Natal, what impact does this then have on what would have been a mop-up operation?
Yeah, the impact is huge because this level 5 warning, it complicates the response capabilities which our disaster teams they need actually to implement, but also the mop-up operations because we have got roads which were flooded and some of the infrastructure destroyed. So during the mop-up operation, then which means that operation, it has to come to a standstill. Allow that the rains actually passes so that our rescue teams continues, but also the mop-up operation also resume as well. So it has actually a huge impact. For example, if we have to relocate the people, it's very difficult to relocate the people while it is raining.
Yeah, and with that relocation of the people, because the Premier has also spoken about that this is one of the things that they're looking at, is that, for instance, in Lamontville, some of the residents who are next to the Umlazi River were saying that they've been waiting now for days to be moved and they haven't been moved. What's the understanding around how soon you're supposed to be moving people from some of these floodplains or lines?
Look, our standard operating procedure, it says that once we discover that an area has been flooded or affected by any hazards, we must immediately evacuate and relocate those affected communities, either to the nearby hall or to any other structure where the communities will be safe. But unfortunately, sometimes we have a situation where even if our disaster teams, they will arrive in that incident scene, they want to relocate the communities. Some of the communities, sometimes they will resist. But fortunately, in some of the incidences which we have experienced in KZN, we have really received a good cooperation from the communities in terms of the relocation. But as I've indicated, we have those dynamics because some of the people, they are afraid that once they leave their houses, and you might have people coming in and breaking in and then starting to steal their belongings.
Yeah. Is that the only reason, or is there an issue around the lack of resources? Because the Premier also speaks about resources have been stretched thin.
Look, yes, resource, okay, we might also put it in that way. Remember also, when you go to eThekwini, we've got a problem of land, the availability of land there. So even if we want to relocate people to the safer places, sometimes we might need just to relocate them to the community halls. And then at the end of the day, once the floods subside and they have to go back into their original places, and that's not actually the solution which we want to see as disaster management. We would like to see when we relocate people and then we make sure that we relocate them into safer places. But because of some of the scarcity of the resources, yes, we do have those kind of bottlenecks.
Yeah. And then with the infrastructure that is actually able to respond to this type of weather and the volume of water as well, some residents are complaining, and experts as well, that the drainage system is poor, and because of the poor drainage systems, and maybe there's blockages as well, that's the reason why the water can't travel through the canals.
Yeah, we always encourage the municipalities to start with the program in terms of drainage cleaning activities, because what we've realized that if it rains and the drains are blocked, you tend to find that the roads, they become flooded, and also the residential areas. But also it's not only that the drainage are blocked. I think there is now a conversation which we have with other stakeholders to say we might need maybe to bring new innovation so that we improve our infrastructure, because the volume of water which now they've been received in those areas, sometimes this drainage system, they can actually accommodate the kind of volume of water. So, which means we might need to improve our infrastructure. But of course, starting with the cleaning of the drainage system, then we can see where are the bottlenecks, then we can implement new projects in those areas.
Do you have an estimate at this moment around the value of the destruction that has been caused by this rain?
Yeah, we do know that the destruction around the infrastructure as a result of this rainfalls, they runs up to billions. But let me indicate that the assessment is still ongoing in some of the areas, but we're expecting that at the end of the assessment, so the figure will be close to $1 billion, even more.
Yeah, close to $1 billion. And in terms of where that money would come from, what would the role of the Disaster Management Center be around where do we get that money from to come and plug some of the holes?
Yeah, there are processes which we have as a National Disaster Management Center. What normally we do, we classify an event, which means is a process which allows the municipalities to reprioritize their budget to cover the damaged infrastructure. But also we allow provincial departments to reprioritize their budget as well, so that they're able to assist the municipalities and also repair those damaged infrastructures.
Yeah.
But also at national, we do have a grants, which we normally use and allocate the money to provinces and also to the municipalities. But the money which we have at national as a grant, it augments the amount which maybe either the municipality would have reprioritized it, and then we augment that amount so that we're able to repair those infrastructure speedily.
Yeah, Dr. Sithole, just quickly, we were showing visuals now of a cemetery that has also been destroyed. Some of the tombstones have been washed away and the graves have been washed away. In such a case, what do you do after this?
Look, within the municipality, there is a process which they normally embark on, because we respect the death. So we want to make sure that the grave sites are always safe, but there is a process which municipality they implement so that they work with families who have been affected, so that they can then see how best they can be assisted. But because we don't want to have a situation where grave sites have been washed away and then as government, we just fold our arms. So there is a process which municipalities, they work with the affected families.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. Dr. Elias Sithole is the head of the National Disaster Management Center on the inclement weather that the country has been facing, but more specifically what's been happening in KwaZulu-Natal.